Hey everyone, welcome to Fighting Over the Card Catalog, a snarky look back on young adult novels of the 80s and 90s. I'm Jess.
I'm Steven, and I'm here to make my wife happy.
We are taking a journey to find out how many terrible and hopefully some not so terrible books from my youth I can get my husband to read before he reconsiders this whole marriage. Hi.
Hi.
So maybe we should have recorded last week, because only one of us was sick then, and this week we both are.
I think I was kind of unfunctioning sick last week.
You were unfunctioning, yeah. So apologies in advance if we sound off and bad, and I'll try to edit out any coughs or sneezes or sniffles. Sorry. But how apropos that this week we're delving into the macabre world of the mistress of death and disease, Lurlene McDaniel. We're starting off with Let Him Live from the One Last Wish series, written in 1993.
You don't know me, but I know you. I can't make you live longer. I can't stop you from hurting, but I can give you one wish, as someone did for me. Being a candy striper isn't Megan Charnel's idea of an exciting summer, but she's volunteered and can't get out of it. Megan's got her own problems to deal with, but when she meets 17-year-old Donovan Jacoby, she finds herself getting involved in his life. Donovan shares with Megan his secret that an anonymous benefactor has granted him one last wish and that he needs her help. The money can't buy a compatible transplant, but it can allow Donovan to give his mother and younger brother something he feels he owes them. Can Megan orchestrate a plan to make his dream come true? The answer is no.
No, she doesn't orchestrate anything. He tells her what to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, okay, let's talk about Lurlene real quick.
Sure.
She is a goddess. So she's super well known for writing about young adults struggling with mortality and chronic illness that she began as a therapeutic way to deal with the trauma when her son at age 3 was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes.
I've never heard of her before, by the way.
Oh, I'm not surprised. She wrote her last book last year, The Girl with a Broken Heart.
Oh.
Yeah. So to make her novels medically accurate, she interviews health professionals and works with various medical groups, including hospices. That's cool. She also studies the Bible to help infuse her work with the human element, the values and ethics often overlooked by the coldness of technology. Not cool. Because she couldn't get values and ethics for her characters if she didn't have the Bible.
I don't know if you want. I don't know if you want to get into that with me. I mean, what's the ethics of killing a bunch of kids for making fun of a guy's bald head? I mean, I have my own issues with ethics from religion.
Yeah, it's probably a little heavy for right now because we're going to get heavy anyway. So I love these books back in the day for all the drama with the medical
How
problems.
old were you when you were reading these books?
12, probably, yeah. And I probably read them longer than I should have. They're like crack. It made me want to have cystic fibrosis.
No. Karma.
It seemed like the most dramatic of all the things that I read about in her books. I started reading our copy of the American Medical Association Family Medical Guide, and it made me become a bit of a secret hypochondriac.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'd look up all the diseases that she had in her book. Okay, but yes, karma. Now that I actually have a neurological disorder, I'm still...
Is it everything you dreamed of?
No, because I don't have all the teen drama. I think maybe I should write my own story.
Yeah?
Yeah, in the style of Lurlene.
Yeah.
Because she has a very distinct style. So, on a scale of 1, best book ever to Dementor's Kiss 10. Suck the soul out from your love of reading. What do you give it?
I'd say probably around a 3, 4. It wasn't horrible. There was a lot of fluff in it. A lot of stuff that I was just, okay, this isn't necessary. Just wanted to get past it. But, probably as a teenager, they were, it was stuff that interests them or whatever.
Yeah, the romance.
It just made the book longer.
It did.
It gave it some extra pages.
Yeah, but that's what made the teen girls care so much.
Yeah.
And it's so sad when things happen.
Well, when you say that, there was some stuff, like, okay, so she started working at the hospital, and of course you're going to go into the story more, but it happened really fast, and it reminded me kind of like some movies that are based on books and how they just have to get to the point fast.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't feel like there really is a connection, but... I can't say really there's not a connection, but that it's really fast and it seems very...
But at least they do address that.
Yeah.
Which I was pretty impressed with. I forget the term and I didn't write it down, but it was like... I want to say intimate friends, but that's not it.
Intimate relationship or something. Yeah, it was something like that. Intimate strength.
Intimate strangers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your dad calls the phenomenon intimate strangers.
Because trauma brings you together. I was pleased they addressed it because it was weird, but they talked.
Sure.
I don't think they do that in every book, though. Because this pretty much happens in every book. So a 3 from you?
Yeah.
Right now? Yeah. Would have been different when you were a teen?
No, probably not.
I give it a good 5 all around because it's not the most dramatic cover book because I know what else is out there. But yeah, we're both in it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into it. So right off, Lurlene wants us to understand that Meg is a privileged little girl whipping around in her red convertible. You'd think she'd care more about safe driving since we learned her best friend was killed in a car accident not too long ago. But, meh. But she's late to her candy striper orientation, which was suggested by her therapist at the hospital where her dad worked. Meg is super resentful of all the time his job takes away, but she doesn't seem to feel a bit guilty for it when we meet Alana, her new bestie, another candy striper who's volunteering because she feels she can give back after Meg's dad saved her brother's freaking life. But Alana's a good person and we love her. They're assigned to the pediatric floor and they're almost run over by a kid in a wheelchair and another with an IV pole. What have I gotten myself into? What does Dad think he's doing? Because heaven forbid these sick kids have any fun at all. So the older kid with the IV pole is Donovan. Tall and thin with curling brown hair and a fabulous smile. But Meg saw that his skin had a yellow cast and that he appeared slightly stooped. So, ew. She doesn't think he's hot. He could be if he weren't sick, is what I took.
Right.
He makes a joke about Meg and Alana looking like twins. Alana smiles and says, "Oh, it must be the uniform." But what the fuck? Because we were told she's African American, even though she doesn't make a big deal out of it. But
what's
pointing out they look like twins? Just
what was it? Weird. How did she put it that she was African American?
Yeah, she didn't really shoehorn it in.
So how she introduces Elena as an African American was that Alana,
yeah,
was talking about her brother Lonnie who needed a kidney transplant, and she talked about Meg's dad telling her that it's highly unusual for African Americans to get transplants right away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. an interesting fact.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good one. We get all of Donovan's backstory when Meg takes him back to his room. He's not from around D.C. where the hospital is, but he and his family moved up there when he got sick. He'd be a senior next year, and it's just his mom and his brother, Brett. Meg and Alana work in the playroom where Meg actually realizes there are actual sick kids. And some could actually die. Poor little sheltered Meg. She goes to her dad's office after her shift and tells him how she met Donovan. And her dad proceeds to tell her that his liver is shot and probably only has 6 months to live if he doesn't get a transplant. Holy HIPAA violation. What are you doing, Dr. Charnel? You can't just go around telling people that, even if she is your daughter.
Was that a big deal in 93? Probably.
HIPAA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so. That's a good question.
I mean, I know it became a big deal with electronic information.
Right.
Which was starting then. I mean, things were being placed into computers, but it wasn't being really shared over the internet or anything like that.
Oh, shit. HIPAA wasn't enacted until August 21st, 1996. But there had to be some private... Great job. But there had to have been some privacy rules, right?
Yeah, I would think so. If nothing else, just doctor-patient confidentiality. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Not a HIPAA violation, though. Great job. So, Donovan has cirrhosis brought on by hepatitis, not an alcohol problem. His hepatitis is idiopathic, meaning they don't know how he contracted it. They do a lot of transplant talk, and Meg then gets a little pissy because their talk is interrupted by her dad needing to go pick up an organ during their conversation. How dare he?
How dare he?
She's pretty resentful of all that.
Yeah, I mean...
Until it affects her.
aren't most people who have absent fathers, no matter what the cause?
I guess, but he's not absent, he's just busy.
Right.
So we learn Meg has really been actually depressed since her friend Cindy's death. So this seems like a really fucked up form of exposure therapy. I mean, of course she's going to get close to some of the freaking kids.
Yeah.
Some of whom might die.
Right.
Just like her friend. It's way fucked up.
Yeah, I mean...
It's been 6 months.
Yeah. It's a way to get out and get you active again. And I guess caring about other people who could possibly die is a good thing. But the actual them dying was probably... I mean, maybe it could be good, but... Because then
they
it could help
put
you
her
know
somewhere else.
that it's not just your friend. It wasn't God punishing you or just your friend. No, that's a human condition. Humans die.
I suppose. They could have put her with old people, though. At least. Or...
Right.
I don't know. I think just putting her with kids for the same age as her friend, that's just like a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, here, let's just compound all this, possibly. Yeah. She also says later that she's never been sick, but yeah, dog, you have. Depression counts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. She gets to meet Donovan's little brother, Brett, and their mom. Little Miss Privilege rears her ugly head again when Donovan produces a toy laser gun for Brett. And their mom worries about the money. And Meg couldn't imagine not having enough money to buy a small toy.
Uh-huh.
I could.
I could, for sure.
So Meg's supposed to pull books from the hospital library to bring up to pediatric ward. Do all hospitals have libraries? Is this something I don't know about?
I would think probably not.
Okay.
Maybe ones that have long-term care, but personally, I've never seen a hospital with a library.
Yeah, me neither, unless it's something they just have hidden away. It'd be really neat.
Right, yeah.
But I've never stayed in a hospital, so I don't know.
I would think that maybe they have areas with books put aside, especially for places like with pediatrics and things
Yeah,
like that.
you would think they'd have like kind of a small library.
But it wouldn't seem
I don't
like
know.
they'd have a position of librarian.
Yeah, which they do at this hospital.
Right.
But anyways, the children's selection sucks. So she goes home during lunch to take books from their basement, which is full of books for her mom's junior league sales, which, what a kick-ass basement.
Uh-huh.
So from now on, when I start thinking about my disability too much, I want to pull a dramatic Donovan. Meg tells him it's not his fault he got sick. He says, let me quote, "I know that up here," he tapped his head, "but why does it bother me so much down here?" He put his hand over his heart.
And not over his liver?
Not over his liver. Okay, so now we finally get down to the real shit. Donovan's like all uptight as hell one day when Meg comes in, and he like demands her to push him outside in the wheelchair. They need privacy for Donovan to show her this buck wild letter that just showed up on his pillow creepily overnight.
Dear Donovan, you don't know me, but I know about you. And because I do, I want to give you a special gift. Accompanying this letter is a certified check, my gift to you with no strings attached, to spend on anything you want. No one knows about this gift except you, and you are free to tell anyone you want. Who I am isn't really important, only that you and I have much in common. Through no fault of our own, we have endured pain and isolation, and have spent many days in a hospital feeling lonely and scared. I hoped for a miracle, but most of all, I hoped for someone to truly understand what I was going through. I can't make you live longer. I can't stop you from hurting. But I can give you one wish, as someone did for me. My wish helped me find purpose, faith, and courage. Friendship reaches beyond time, and the true miracle is in giving, not receiving. Use my gift to fulfill your wish. Your forever friend, JWC.
That was a great dramatic reading. Oh my goodness.
So I take it JWC is someone from another book.
Can
I would assume.
Be honest with you, I don't really remember.
Yeah.
So it's as much a mystery to me as it is to you. Yeah, so there's also a check for $100,000, which is $172,000 in today, and signed Richard Holloway Esquire, One Last Wish Foundation. What do you think about this whole sitch? Creepy?
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, and obviously this was pre 9/11, because they wouldn't allow you just to deposit $100,000 check.
Oh.
Yeah, they do a little checking around for, hey, where'd you get this $100,000?
Yeah, and like, just let somebody wander into this kid's hospital room in the middle of the night. That's what bothers me.
I've been to hospitals, and I know you could pretty much just walk into any room.
But a pediatric ward in the middle of the night, that would be creepy. I mean, the nurses would see you creeping around, right?
You would hope.
One would hope. See, that's another thing. He knows this kid's dying.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like looked at records.
And what makes him pick this guy over
right.
anybody else?
So Donovan's more worried about Meg's dad taking the money away to pay for his transplant.
Sure.
And all. Yeah. Which, because right now it's covered by grant. But so they worry about that for a while, but it turns out fine. The grant money is already allocated, so no.
But it may affect his aftercare.
Uh-huh.
Because if he has money, then he'll be expected to pay for the aftercare.
And I was also...
And if he doesn't have money, then that probably is grants also.
I was also wondering about, like, right now. If that's covered under the grant.
Oh, right, because he's not in there. Because he's in there because he had complications.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not because he was just sitting there waiting for a transplant.
Right. So he's there for a long time. That's
Yeah.
gonna add the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's right. His mom probably is going to have those bills after he dies.
Right? Spoiler alert.
Or doesn't die.
It's fine. Okay, so little Miss Privilege rears her ugly head again. Meg realizes she has been raised quite differently from Donovan. She's never wanted for material things, goes to a private school, wears expensive clothes, and has her own car. Meanwhile, Donovan's mom and brother are stuck far away from the hospital in a one-bedroom apartment without a car at all. I suppose it's good she's realizing all this, but it's a shitty way to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, like with most people, you don't really grow or understand until it affects you personally. And it's the same when just like seeing somebody else that has to deal with it.
Right.
Yeah, that often can make you have just as much empathy and go through that kind of mental change.
And obviously, she didn't have any type of Lurlene McDaniel book to read it herself.
Right.
I care because I read these books. So Meg talks with her dad about how great it would be to have a house close enough to the hospital for families of patients, which are basically Ronald McDonald houses.
Right.
The first of which had opened about 20 years before this book was published, so it's not exactly a new idea, but she's so privileged, I'll give her a pass. She doesn't know about it. So her dad's like, cool, get on that then. And Meg's like, oh shit, what? Then she talks to her mom, who's part of that junior league, and they do this sort of thing all the time. And her mom's like, cool, do a presentation at our next meeting. And Meg's like, oh shit, what? But she does, and she thinks it goes well, but they're just saying that they'll take it into consideration for right now. Donovan gets a day pass and wants to go do something fun with Meg before they go over to have dinner with his mom. Meg wants to do something that doesn't involve a lot of walking, so she chooses taking him to see the Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument.
Yeah,
that seems like a lot of walking.
Yeah. There's no parking right next to it, is there?
I've
never been, so
I've never been, but I would like to. But I've always pictured myself needing a wheelchair to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just remember all the steps.
Yeah, there's a lot of steps, and I know there's that big pool where there's a lot of like sidewalk next to the monument, in front of the monument. But he seems fine. He doesn't die or anything yet. What? No. But they discuss his one last wish money. Meg asks, she's like, maybe you should get your mom a car. But he's like, no, I want to buy her a house. And he wrangles Meg into doing all the searching for him, even though she's just like this 16-year-old with no clue about real estate. But whatever. It's fine. The meal Donovan's mom makes is, I quote, simple but tasty. Just to really rub it in that they're poor. Brett, his brother, thinks that Donovan's going to spend the night and gets all upset that he can't. It's pretty sad. Brett's a good dude. But anyways, there's not much time to be sad because this next chapter is so fucking infuriating. So the phone rings at their home at 2 a.m. and Meg gets up to pretty much interrogate her dad about it. She's like, is anybody I know? But there's been this accident victim about to die, and he has the same blood type as Donovan. So she wants to go with him to collect this organ, and he just fucking lets her.
Yeah.
And on the way, her dad explains how Donovan's going to be being prepped for surgery right now, even though they may not get the liver.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, he'll be disappointed if it doesn't happen. It's like, yeah, no shit, dog.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that went into it. X-rays and... Was there an MRI?
I don't remember. But it was a lot of...
A lot of drug cocktails.
Yeah. And... Make sure, like, it would take...
Yeah, to clear out any harmful bacteria. Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Including sedation and, yeah.
Like, yeah, gonna fuck him up, and it may be for nothing. So they get to this other hospital, and Meg goes into the waiting room because this hospital isn't as lenient as Meg's dad, just letting her do whatever the hell she wants. And there she finds a family all huddled together. Guess what? The accident victim's family. They don't know that the kid is brain dead, but Meg does. And that's just hella fucked up. What is that? I mean, if she weren't a good kid, as good as she is, she could, like, just blurt it out. Blurt out what she knows to this family who thinks he's still alive.
Right.
I find that very upsetting.
Why do you find that upsetting?
Because a 16-year-old random-ass girl shouldn't be the one to tell his family that their kid's dead. Brain dead.
Yeah, I don't think she is, like, gets off on other people's misery enough to just say, hey, no. Guess what? Guess what? No. I know, people.
I don't think so either. But
ha ha ha, you guys all think he's getting better.
But you don't know what your kid's gonna do. I think it's fucked up too. And have that responsibility on her. I mean, not to tell him, obviously, but have that weight on her shoulders to know this.
Right. I think it's more messed up that the hospital hasn't come out and talked to him about it yet.
Even though they know.
Even though they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do take them back eventually and apparently talk to him. And Meg's dad comes out to find her later. And he tells her that the family doesn't want to donate his organs. And Meg is pissed. Which, I mean, I understand why she's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I think organ donation is a great thing. I want all my organs donated, if they can be.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I don't think I can because of the autoimmune disease.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too.
But I mean, even if not, you know, if they can use it for scientific purposes,
right.
Education, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
But I know there's, you know, because there are certain religions that talk about when something happens in the future, then the bodies will be restored. You know, and so there are some religions that believe that you have to keep the whole body intact. You can't mutilate it afterwards. And that was the whole thought behind the Egyptians originally, you know, trying to keep the body in its preserved state was for it to be ready for that time, you know.
But, like, didn't they suck out brains to do that?
Yeah.
Then it's kind of mutilated. I think that's more mutilated than taking out a kidney to share with someone. But, okay.
Right. But they don't in modern day, you know.
Like in the morgue?
Embalming.
Embalming.
In modern day embalming, yes. Yeah. They don't suck out any organs. They just, they pickle it. They pickle your body.
And so that's fine. God's good with that.
Yeah, because it's all there.
Okay. Okay, but, like, what if you had to have your appendix removed or your tonsils? They gonna get mad about that?
Yeah, I mean, you're messing with the temple there. You should have just prayed it away.
Okay.
I'm speaking from the perspective of people I have literally heard say stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm going to put a link in the show notes to sign up for organ donations in the U.S.
Yeah, I'm sure the whole reason she put that scene in there was to get anybody who reads that to say, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then want themselves to make sure that their families know that they want their body to be donor.
Yeah.
Organ donor.
I mean, it worked on me.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that sort of young adult.
Sure.
Lit
well, I mean,
propaganda.
Yeah. I mean, it's the realities of the amount of people waiting for donor organs. You know, we could get into the whole who deserves to have an organ and who doesn't, but yeah.
When I was reading on organdonor.gov, it was talking about how, like, it's colorblind and all this stuff. There's more information there on organdonor.gov if you'd like to learn more about it.
Nice.
I'll put it in the show notes. So the Junior League approves Meg's house idea. And her mom asks her to come along to the planning meeting, telling her that they'll need her ideas. Meg seemed to be under this impression that she would just be done when the Junior League took a hold of it, and pretty much admits she was just interested in there being someone somewhere for her cute, even though he's sick, precious mom to stay. Um, but too bad she has to stick with it. Meg meets with the realtor, and it goes surprisingly well, considering she's showing a 16-year-old girl a bunch of houses all by herself. But they don't find any close enough to the hospital for Meg's liking. Meg and Alana fill Donovan in on all the Junior League fundraising ideas. They've got a bunch of them, including a moonlight cruise. And Alana doesn't let Meg beat around the bush and tells Donovan that Meg wants to take him. And he accepts, obviously. Alana wants to take a fine hunk of man, Clark.
So yeah, that was one of the parts I had an issue with.
Yes.
Because up until that point, she had been very good at being colorblind. And then she had to put some wording in to make it seem like a sassy black lady.
Which she does say later, kind of.
Yeah, she calls her hair sassy.
No, she does a sassy hair flip.
She does a sassy hair flip. Uh-huh. And it reminded me of when we were watching that show the other day, and they were saying that the skater was exotic.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Very abundantly. Just like Christy referred to Claudia as exotic.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah, there's some problematic wording and all that when she was doing such a good job.
Yes. A little bit.
The three of them get down to work on a fundraising letter based on Donovan's experience, and apparently it's very good. Meg's dad releases Donovan from the hospital because he's stable and he's just waiting around for a transplant. And like I said, I doubt the grants just cover him just staying there. He has a beeper in case a liver comes in. And so that means Donovan can join in the house search. And they find a huge 1890s Victorian fixer-upper real close to the hospital. And Donovan just buys it on the spot. And apparently the agent's a goddamn miracle worker. Because Meg and Alana, her brother Lonnie, and her fine hunk of a man Clark are almost done fixing it up in less than 2 weeks.
Right.
Like, so they closed on it and did everything, and are now almost done fixing it up in under 2 weeks.
Right.
Not right.
Plausible. It could happen because they said this, it was an old lady.
Yeah.
And the house she had no relatives, and the house went back to the bank. Okay.
Right.
So the bank could have done a lot of stuff. And if he's paying cash, you don't have to go through the whole loan process.
True.
You don't have to get the appraisals, and you don't have to get surveys.
So they're working the night before the cruise, painting and everything. There's this big old storm, and the lights go out, and Meg and Donovan almost kiss, but Alana interrupts them. She feels real bad about it. But then she has a real talk with Meg about her potentially falling in love with Donovan. And Meg gets kind of pissed, thinking Alana thinks that Donovan's gonna die. And Meg's all truly convinced he's gonna get a donor. Like, this is like her first Lurlene McDaniel book. She doesn't know. Poor naive little girl. So the cruise happens, and Alana and Clark make out all over the place, apparently. And Donovan and Meg finally kiss as well, for the sake of their friendship. The two of them take Donovan's mom to their house and explain everything, and it goes real well. I'd be freaking out over this whole thing, personally, if it were my kid. You?
Freaking out about what?
About your kid getting $100,000 and buying this whole house for you. And she's quite calm about the whole thing.
Oh, you're already at the point where they've taken her there?
Yes.
I guess I slowed down for a second.
You're petting Millie, and you're distracted by her.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be more upset that you didn't consult with me about this
Right?
before you made this really huge decision.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if he gets better, if he doesn't get better, he is still just assuming that she wants to live in that
Right.
spot.
Exactly. That bothered me too.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're looking for a long-term thing, you need to be looking at schools for yourself and Brett, and like wherever she's working. Like what? I mean, all the things that go into buying a house. It's not gonna. I mean, okay, he'll have to have. He would have to have. Aftercare and lots of stuff for a while.
Right.
But the house is a bigger, longer time investment than that. So
right.
yeah, that bothers me too. And it should have bothered her, but it did.
And people always, in like stories and in their own minds, want a really large house.
Uh-huh.
And with a really large yard, and they don't realize what it takes to maintain those things.
Yeah, can you imagine the maintenance on this house?
If she was close before and needed to take a long bus ride to the hospital, say close before to her work, well, now she's going to have a long bus ride to work.
Right.
And then, on top of having a sick kid and a small kid,
she's going to have to change schools if it's that far away already.
Right.
Yeah.
She's going to have to take care of this big yard and this big house.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And we don't even know if Donovan's going to live.
We don't know.
We don't know. So Meg takes them all back to their apartment, goes home and tells her mom all about it. And her mom's like super proud of her ingenuity. And they agree they need to hunt JWC down to get them to donate to the house fund.
What do they call it?
The Wayfarer Inn?
Yeah, the Wayfarer Inn. Right.
But then guess what? Oh no! They learn Donovan's been taken to the hospital and he's unconscious. Everyone shows up there at the hospital and Brett tells them how Donovan fell down and there was a lot of blood. And that sounds very traumatic for a small child.
Well, I mean, he has been working on a house for a couple of weeks.
True. But that one night he wasn't working.
He wasn't doing much, yeah, but you don't know how much he was doing in between.
No, that's true. So Meg finds her dad in his office and asks him why he isn't down prepping for an operation for Donovan. I don't know why she just thinks a liver suddenly appeared. But it seems like she does.
Or that just any old operation is going to fix it.
Yeah. But he tells her that Donovan's now in kidney failure. And she's like, oh, snap, he needs a kidney transplant too? Dad's like, nope, not going to be any transplants at all. They have run out of time.
And I'm just figuring out how to tell you.
Yep.
As you're asking
Well,
me.
He's just about to go tell Donovan's family, which means he just told Meg before he told his mom. Meg's all, we broke the rules, didn't we? We got too close. Yeah, I'd say so, Meg. God damn. Sorry, it pisses me off a lot. Then he lets Meg go see Donovan while he's breaking the news to Donovan's mom and brother.
Right.
That I hate it. It's not right. How mad would you be? Let's say if one of your kids was dying and not even a girlfriend.
Well, I mean, I think at that point, if they were so sick, I would just be with my kid. The timing of when you were telling me they were dying probably wouldn't matter because I'd just be with my kid until they die.
Yeah. But like Meg's all up in there first.
Right.
And then,
well, I guess she had to figure out some way of getting in the story that she can go have personal private time with him because he's sitting there mumbling
that he's cold.
So cold.
Right.
It's cold. And there were no blankets around and she didn't want to leave him alone. So she crawls up into the bed with him.
Break even more rules. That's what it is. I don't like the rule breaking. Yeah, but she climbs up in bed with him and like spoons him and yeah. Oh, and she tells him to look up her homegirl, Cindy, when he gets wherever he's going.
Right.
She thinks he'd like her. It doesn't seem like he dies right there, at least, which is what I was afraid of, that he would die with Meg before his family got there.
That's where I thought it was going.
Yeah, I did too. But apparently he has a few days in the ICU. It's not totally clear because it picks up 8 months later.
Yeah, cutscene.
Yeah, which is fine. We don't have to deal with all the grief. Not mad about that. Meg and Donovan's mom are at the house 8 months later with a whole bunch of people because his mom has decided she can't just have this house for herself and Brett, but as a first sort of smaller house for families to stay in before the new big one is all built, because that'll take a while.
Yeah, I mean, she was probably staying there and she's like, I can't take care of this.
Yeah, right?
What can I do about it?
And now my big strong son is gone. What am I going to do? Yeah. So, but they'll still live there, and she's going to be working as a coordinator, cooking and cleaning and stuff, and she's probably got a job at the big one once that's done. So, anyways, this last scene is the big opening for it with lots of press stuff. And then a nurse from the pediatric floor that Meg's been working with tells her she has a gift for medicine. So, from that comment, she decides that she and Alana should go to med school together. Cool, Meg. I hope there are like lots of hot patients for you to get way too close to again. Right. I think it'll be great.
For you to then be interested in medicine.
Because we didn't hear about her taking care of any other patients ever.
Right.
I mean, I assume she did.
Yeah, she talked about sometime doing something with the kids.
Like that first
the coloring, day. Yeah, like that.
That was the first day. So, that's the book. Very sad.
Book. Yeah, I had feels at the end.
Did you really?
I cried, yeah.
No, you didn't.
I did, yeah.
I
teared up.
I love you. Yeah, and this isn't even one of the most dramatic ones. Oh, we're going to get into this. I can't remember if this is one that made me cry. Some did, but not all of them. So, did you find anything else problematic other than talking about Alana?
Not that I can remember.
I did.
What did you find problematic?
Her mom totally was weight shaming her throughout the book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, here's some quotes from it. She'd struggled with her weight most of her life, and boys had never seemed to notice her the way they did slimmer girls. And she tells Donovan, because he's a little underweight, you can have some of my weight. I've been looking for a place to dump it for years. And she goes out for frozen yogurt, and she leaves a note for her parents, and she says, "Don't worry, Mom. I'll get the low fat on." I don't know if Lurlene ever has a eating disorder book at any point, but I really hope not, because she does not deal with this well at all.
Yeah, and toward the end, she was talking about her having lost 10 pounds from all the work she was doing.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot to just like be slipped in there, but to kind of hammer in at you two. And look at the cover of this book. Not look great. At that tiny little waist.
Not great for teenage.
No. What was I supposed to be thinking of this little, what is he, probably a size 4? Talking about how overweight she is.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay. Good. Yeah, it really bothered me. I don't think I picked up on it consciously when I read it before, but sure as hell did now.
Yeah.
Are you excited to read more Lurlene McDaniel books?
I guess more than some other books, maybe.
Yeah? Okay. But it struck you emotionally, so it got you.
Yeah, I mean,
you were involved.
I get in
the story.
Yeah, I'm hyper empathetic, so.
Yeah, I know. That's why I love you. All right, so I guess that's it for this week. So please rate it and subscribe to us on iTunes and Spotify and all your podcast places. Check out our website at fightingoverthecardcatalog.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Fighting Over the Card Catalog, and at Twitter on Card Catalog Pod. And email us if you'd like at fightingoverthecardcatalog@gmail.com. So our next book, I really love. Like, legit, still love. We're going to start the Anastasia series. Not like the play or the movie. Her name's Anastasia Krupnik, and she's dope as hell. And I can't wait for you to meet her and her family. They're all great. Like, legit. Not just like, I'm going to fuck with you. So, we'll be reading Anastasia Krupnik this next week. And we're rereading the books of your childhood.
So you don't have to.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.